You're listening to the You Are Not Your Diagnosis podcast with me, your host, Lynn Del Mastro Thompson. I'm a certified body talk practitioner, breathwork teacher, intuitive healer, speaker, and author of the Amazon bestseller, You Are Not Your Diagnosis. I help women who are currently living with chronic illness to get to the root of why they are sick and to create the right conditions for their bodies to heal so they can thrive, not just survive. After being misdiagnosed with leukemia at the age of 25, I have become passionate about sharing my message that just because a doctor has said an illness is chronic doesn't mean it has to be a life sentence, and that Western medicine isn't the only approach to healing. This podcast is all about inspiring hope for you, supporting key mindset shifts that will help your healing process, and offering other possibilities for you on your healing journey. Are you ready? Let's talk healing. Hello and welcome back to another episode of You Are Not Your Diagnosis. Again, this episode is going to be a little bit different, like the one a couple weeks ago, and that is because we are getting close to New Year's. So I hope you've all had a wonderful holiday season so far. And I wanted to spend a little bit of time in this episode first just talking about the difference between New Year's resolutions and New Year's intentions and why I recommend setting intentions over resolutions. And then a little bit later in the episode, I actually have a guided meditation for you again to help you with setting those New Year's intentions and really visualizing them in a way that's very powerful to the brain. So let's first just talk for a few minutes about why do I recommend intentions over resolutions? Because resolutions, most people, when they ask that question, unless you're around people who are particularly into a lot of kind of healing work and consciousness, most people comes to New Year's and you hear the question, what's your New Year's resolution? So in kind of just looking up the definition of intention versus resolution, I think that's one of the interesting answers to why a resolution might be more challenging for many of us versus an intention. So according to the dictionary, the definition of resolution is a firm decision to do or not do something. So that's pretty rigid, right? We say, I am not going to eat any more sugar in the new year. I am going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to stop doing this, usually is the thing. I'm going to work, or it's something like I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. And we're very rigid about that, right? With these intentions, or with these resolutions, excuse me. But when we look at the definition of intention, that is a little bit different. So intention is a thing intended, an aim or a plan. So it's a little bit softer, less rigid, less all or nothing. So it's very interesting if you think about, resolutions. And one of the things I always observed in the years that I was a member of a gym, and I was pretty consistent in going to the gym over the months, but there was always this influx of people in January for the first couple weeks. And usually by February, everything was kind of back to normal. But in January, the gym was always a bit crazy. It was hard to find machines, and then people would drop off. And I think that with that approach of thinking about, they made a resolution and then, they were gung-ho in the beginning with, again, the best motivation, and they want to do something positive for their health. But then it's easy when we fall off of that, we say we're going to work out 5 days a week, and then we miss a day, and it kind of snowballs into things. And then we kind of just say, oh, well, I failed at my resolution. I think that's basically the mindset that's happening, even if people aren't conscious of it, is that we're just kind of losing track of that resolution. We fail, and then it doesn't feel good to fail, so we kind of just say, okay, I'm done with that. So what if instead, by setting intentions, we could be a little bit gentler with ourselves, a little bit more forgiving of ourselves, and have a little bit better success rate? So part of what I'm talking about here goes back to what I shared in an episode, a number of episodes ago, which I'll put in the show notes, about why it's so hard to make change in our life. And that's part of how our brain is wired. So I don't really want to rehash that material, but if you didn't listen to that episode and you really want a deeper understanding of what's going on in your brain when you're trying to make changes and you have good intentions to make changes and you don't seem to be able to follow through, I think this sheds light on this whole resolution issue. But to come back to kind of setting intentions, it's also, for me, thinking about intentions, they're more about how I want to feel. They're more about just they're broader. It's not an all or nothing kind of a thing. Like I have to completely give up eating sugar. It's more like I want to feel more energized in my body. And then I can think of, as I go through the months, what actions are going to take me towards that broader goal. Or if I want to feel more connected to people in my life, what on a daily basis is going to help me have that feeling. So it's a different approach when we're thinking of it not as this all or nothing, black or white. I have to only do this thing or not do this thing, but it's like I wake up in the morning and I think, if my intention for the next year is to feel more joyful, then I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, today, what will bring me more feelings of joy? And I use that kind of to guide my day. So one of the books that was interesting and really helpful to me, probably, I read it, I would guess maybe about 8 or 9 years ago, is Danielle Laporte's Desire Map. And she talks about setting intentions from a place based on, and goals based on how you want to feel in your life rather than kind of the traditional way of setting goals. And I think for many of us, when we have that emotion behind it and that feeling state that we're seeking, it's also much easier to tap into our desire to follow through because we want that feeling state rather than we read an article that says, to be healthy, you should not eat all of these things. How would you like to feel instead in your life rather than, oh, I'm going to give up all of these particular foods that I've read are bad. And you might still do the same actions in a certain way, but you're coming from a different place. You're coming from the place of how do I want to feel rather than kind of a head-oriented place. So I think that's the other thing that I want to share for me about what intentions are. Intentions are a little bit more emotionally connected. They're a little bit more from a heart-centered place, whereas goal is very kind of logical, linear, brain-oriented. I'm going to do this thing. I'm not going to do that thing. Very black and white. So if you've never tried making that shift into intentions versus resolutions, I encourage you to just explore what would that be like. Maybe read up a little bit, maybe, just even look on the internet about setting New Year's intentions versus setting resolutions. Because for me, it was definitely, I've never been a person to set resolutions. It never felt right. First of all, January 1st always feels, even though it's a new year, it feels a little arbitrary to me. But I also just didn't really resonate with that black and white kind of, all or nothing. I have to do this thing completely, or I have to give up that thing completely. I like the more nuanced sense and the more emotional connection to what I'm trying to do through intentions. So hopefully that was some helpful information to help you just start to rethink setting your intentions. And if you already set intentions, great. I hope that this was just maybe further confirmation about why that resonates for you versus setting resolutions. So what I'm going to do is just shift into a meditation that I have recorded for you. And this meditation is going to just walk you through a little bit of thinking of the past year of your life and all of the wonderful things that have happened, all of the feelings and accomplishments you've experienced. And then it will shift into guiding you into kind of visualizing your intention for 2020. So whether you are clear about that intention yet, or whether you haven't quite yet figured out what that intention, the meditation is will work for both of those. You might gain some clarity in this relaxed state over what exactly you want your intentions to be for the new year. So wishing you all a happy new year as well. And I'm excited to share this meditation with you and to keep sharing more information with you in the new year. Begin by lying down and closing your eyes. Begin to imagine that you're lying somewhere very comfortable and feel your body start to relax more and more. Take a nice deep inhale, and with your exhale, imagine you are breathing out any tension, any stress, any holding in your body. And take another few minutes just breathing and feeling your body sinking into the surface below you. Feeling yourself heavy and relaxed. As you begin to feel warm and cozy inside, even though it might be cold outside and the air might be cold and crisp, you feel your body relaxed. Imagine yourself now curled up in front of a nice warm fireplace. You begin to watch as the flames flicker yellow and red. The golden yellow flame seems to relax you even further as you enjoy its warmth. Just take a few breaths, imagine gazing into this fire and feeling your body relax. And as you lie here enjoying this moment of relaxation, you start to remember some wonderful things that have happened to you in this past year. Think of the many wonderful moments that have made you happy. Let your mind just travel through the past months of this year and replay scenes for just a moment that made you happy, that made you smile, or made you feel grateful. Just noticing all of the good things that have happened to you. Even if there have been some challenges, just taking stock of the good things and the growth that you've experienced as well. As you take stock of the year, knowing that you've grown on the outside and on the inside too. You've become smarter, wiser. Perhaps you know yourself better. You know your personal gifts, your strengths. Perhaps you've experienced some healing of challenges, of issues that have been with you for a while. Just spend another moment just taking stock of this past year. And just as you've taken stock of this past year, you know that this new year that will begin very soon is a brand new start. This is a wonderful time to think about all of the amazing things that you want to accomplish and experience. Know that you have tremendous power, especially through your mind, to achieve what you want to achieve this coming year. But rather than setting this as a New Year's resolution, instead just setting an intention. It could be as simple as an intention of how you would like to feel this year. More joyful, more energized, happier. It may even be a word that you want to embody this year. Maybe it's an area of your life that you would like to prioritize. Doing things to support your health further, your body further. Maybe it's something that you want to learn, a new skill, a new hobby. Maybe it's about more connection, deepening your connection to family and friends. Whatever you decide to do in this coming year, whatever intention you set, you will have a wonderful goal to work towards and to help guide you each and every day. If your mind wants to say, "Oh, I don't know if that's possible. That sounds like something you've tried to do before," just thank it for its input and reassure it that you have tremendous power through setting your mind towards an intention to move yourself towards that goal. And begin to imagine what your days will look like in this coming year as you move towards that intention. What does it feel like to walk through a day focused on this intention? How do you wake up in the morning? How do you feel? What different things are you doing throughout your day that support this intention? How do you feel at the end of your day, having taken steps towards that goal? Remember, your mind doesn't know the difference between what you imagine and what's really happening. So the more vividly you can spend time imagining that intention as your current reality, as if that is your life now, the more powerful this process will be. So let's spend just another minute fully stepping into that as your reality from this moment forward. Now take a deep breath in and imagine yourself at the end of the next year, having accomplished all of these wonderful intentions that you've just been thinking about. Again, allow yourself to bask in how wonderful it will feel to be more energized, to be healthier, to have more joy or connection, whatever that intention was that you set. Picture yourself as having succeeded and allow yourself to fully embody and experience the emotions that you will feel in December of next year. Now allow the peacefulness and happiness that you feel as of December 31st, 2020 to fill up your entire body, going into each and every cell. Just marinate in that energy. And as this meditation begins to draw to a close, you can either stay and relax and perhaps spend some more time in this visualization, or if you are limited in time and you feel ready, you can begin to bring your awareness back into the room. And when you're ready, if you so choose, you can open your eyes and go about the rest of your day.